And that is right. What is going on, senores y senores? Welcome on in today's edition of Citywide Special. It's a Thursday. It is August 24th, and we got a brand new edition of Citywide Special. Real quick, what's going on Facebook? We're live on YouTube, Twitter. We're live on DSM Media. No TikTok today, but I want to welcome everyone on in. Comment section is live and open. Drop them damn comments. Guys, happy game day to all. Obviously, it is Birds. It's the preseason finale, so we're going to talk some Birds. We're going to talk some Phillies. That was a hard one. And, of course, shouts out to all you real MVPs who hung out yesterday for the live stream. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys. I don't know what the bad luck is with me. I don't know what my bad juju is, but, yeah, we're going to continue getting extra times every time we do the live stream. We got some Messi talk. We got some Sixers talk. But I'm not doing this alone here today. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, today's special guest for Citywide Special, please welcome of Sports Network, Phil Stife, a.k.a. The Real Beard. What's up, Phil? What's up, brother?
Not much. What's going on, my man? It's not my typical studio right here, not my typical background here today.
Dude, we love it, man. We're live from the pizza shop. We got the pepperoni pizza cooking right now. We love it, man.
Nah, man, no pepperoni. Pepperoni's the most overrated pizza topping there is out there, my man.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that then, man. Well, first off, man, Phil, as always, man, I'm so happy to see you, man. How you been, brother? What's new with you? How's Trending in the AM doing, man?
Trending in the AM is rocking every single day, 8:15 a.m., not even 8:30. We got hours not enough for Trending in the AM every day on Philadelphia Sports Network. So, we go live every single day. We talk about whatever's trending. And, man, it's fire lately. I got my core 12. I got my guys that come in and comment every single day. It is unstoppable what's happening with Trending in the AM right now.
It is, man. It is. I love seeing the direction you've been taking it, man. I think we've talked about this like morning talk show in Philadelphia. Like I like Kincaid. I think he's solid. I was never a fan of Cataldi for the longest of times now. So there was always that need there. In the morning, we're a blue collar city. We're waking up early. We're trying to get that listening, and it's always huge to have you on here. We got Scotty in the comment section. What's going on? The real one.
The real one, yeah. Something like that. Yeah, I want to touch on what you just said there real quick, though, because it's something that really bothers me all the time. Everybody always talks about the how bad sports talk radio is or how they complain about this guy or that guy. And there are so many great content creators on YouTube and all over the internet, like you, like me, like so many different DSM, PSN, all these sites out there. Well, if you have so many problems with the other channels, why you listen to them? There's so many options out there, right? So, you could plug your phone in to your car and listen to YouTube. You could plug your phone into your car and listen to any site on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, anywhere. Support the people that are putting in the grind, and don't keep giving these bigger names the platform and the clicks and the listens that you complain about that they don't need anymore.
You know what it is, I think? I think it's just like we are such creatures of habit, especially in the city, dude. It's decades of going into the car. You already have your station set up. Like I have 97.5 already programmed in my car. Like it's one of the safe stations. So I think that's what it is. But I'm with you. I have like my crazy rotation of podcasts that I have here. I listen to even the sports networks, the DSM media ones I put on there as well, and I keep the rotation going along with music. So I'm with you on that one, man. If you listen, there's a lot of people out there. And you know what else is crazy too, Phil? Like, we don't ask for. I mean, it'd be nice to get paid for this, right? But listen, all we really ask for is a simple follow, all stuff that is for free. And so that definitely goes a long way, especially for your favorite sports creator. Phil, twice in one day. You got Martian over there, huh?
He's part of my core 12. I call him the core 12. He's actually part of the core 3, the original 3 that we're watching every single day, Trending in the AM. But hashtag core 12 to my man Martian there.
Absolutely. What's up, Ryan? What's going on, man? Hope you're having a great day. So true. Professional athlete pods are the only ones listened to outside of content creators, outside the big media companies, man. It's definitely a grind. It's a day by day thing, but we're grinding, man. We're putting in the work. That's for sure, man. Dude, I real quick, man. I was curious to ask you because I'm driving down the street, right? And I see my pizza shop that down the street that I usually order from actually have a delivery driver. Like they had the sign and everything. So for you personally, like, dude, in 2023, like, is pizza deliveries from an actual pizza shop, like an actual person you hire, still a thing?
Yeah, man. I actually prefer to hire delivery drivers versus the DoorDashes and stuff. Those outside third. If I can give you any advice to anybody listening, don't order through the third party company unless they don't offer the delivery. They charge those restaurants. We used to use DoorDash and Grubhub here. They charge 20-30% right off the top from the restaurant. So you're hurting the restaurants by ordering from those sites. Order from the restaurants, just don't use those sites. DoorDash is at a minimum. DoorDash is at a minimum 30% right off the top goes to them and comes out of the restaurant's pocket.
I'm glad I asked you, man, because I didn't even know that, dude. That's definitely really, really good to know, man. Okay. And what about like food? Like obviously everything's going up in price. How have you been surviving with all that, man?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, the food costs have gone up. We've raised our prices. I'm actually in the process of approving new menus to be printed for my restaurant, and I'm not even actually putting prices on my menu anymore because the prices fluctuate, and people always argue, well, your menu says one thing. I'm like, well, prices change. Things fluctuate. So, that's going to be the trend you're going to see in a lot of restaurants now is restaurants not actually printing prices on their like long-term menus because, customers that I love every customer that comes in this shop, but they're always trying to nickel and dime you and find a way to get over on you. So no prices anymore.
Market price, man.
Yeah, it's basic. Market price for your pizza. You thought it was for your lobster or your oysters or something like that, but man, your pizza is now going to be market price from here on out.
All right, so you're not a pepperoni guy. So what's your pizza choice, man? I know you've had so many pizza in your lifetime. Already.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what kind of mood I'm in, but I think some of the most underrated toppings in a pizza or on a pizza: bacon, sausage. If you have a really good Italian sausage, bacon. I love red onions on my pizza, and I love banana peppers, the yellow banana peppers on my pizza. Dude. They're my 4 go-to toppings right there in any combo. Pepperoni is just so greasy, and I don't know. Even if you get a high quality pepperoni, it is so overrated in my opinion. So I see Scotty saying it. Bacon and yellow pepper, man. You got to get those banana peppers, man. With bacon, it is the way to go. But you know what? I'm gonna give you a shout out. Give a special pizza that I love, and very few pizza shops make it. It's called an upside down. It's called an upside down pizza. We make it here. So you put the sauce or the cheese down first, then you layer it with provolone cheese, and then you put your pizza sauce on top. So it's an extra cheesy, extra saucy pizza, man. That's the way to go right there.
That sounds so good, man. Now Phil's got me all hungry and stuff, man.
We're working on the live stream, right? In the group chat right now. We're gonna do some pizza. Anybody that comes out for that live stream, when we figure that out, we're gonna have you guys test some pizzas out, see what your pizza making skills are.
That I'm in on that, man. It's funny, Phil. Who taught me the banana peppers on the pizza? It was in South Philly. I went to City Pizza, which is if you're from South Philly, you know City Pizza very well. And I saw like in the display, like they had slices. I was like, yo, let me have that. And phenomenal. I would definitely.
I put banana peppers on my pizza, on my cheesesteak, on my salads, everything. I went to a restaurant down in North Carolina once. They even had like deep fried banana peppers as like an appetizer. Like if you get the breaded pickles, instead they had the breaded banana peppers. Banana peppers are an underrated item, period, for food.
I worked in a restaurant that they used to put it in their calamari as well. They would mix it in there as well, man. That's good. Yeah. Radio talk shows is so 2008. Live YouTube shows like you guys do is more interactive and I guess raw interactions or live and interactions are live and raw now. Yeah, man, and that's what we try to do, man. I know Phil as well can agree with this. Like everything we try to do, man, it's straight from our heart. It is us. Yeah, like, we're not trying to. We don't really have. Obviously we have ratings, but not like they do. So like. We're just trying to do things that we agree upon, and hopefully you guys like it too. And if not, man, there are other creators here. Yeah. Let's get into today's show. As always, today's citywide special. We have again our tequila añejo. Thank you to our friends over at Kirkland, Costco, and then of course, if you guys ever get these ranch waters, they're pretty solid. It's a little variety pack. We got the Spicy John. So salute to Philly. I'll take a shot here for Phil.
Sorry, I was going to bring something to drink for you, but working at the pizza shop and drinking, man, I'm not going to work through dinner. If I start doing shots right now, I'm going to have to close the shop down.
We got to keep Phil in business, guys. No agenda. Yes, that's right, man. That is correct, man. But as we always do, Phil, we like to start off with our poll of the day. So I'm going to bring that bad boy up here. And of course I lost my screen, but it is all good. So if you guys would like to participate in the poll of the day, it's very simple. It's right on my Twitter account, I guess X account now. In today's Twitter poll question of the day. And yes, this pained me to ask because I think it's a dumb topic conversation. But clearly, Philadelphia wants to talk about this. After 78 votes, should the Eagles trade for Jonathan Taylor? Right now, leading the way is 57.7% with no, 42.3% is yes. Phil, let's open up the topic conversation today with our birds as they gear up with preseason action tonight against the Indianapolis Colts. So, JT, Jonathan Taylor, is a member of the Colts, ironically. A lot of rumors, and this is always happens every offseason. The big star players on the trade blocker gets released, and everyone's like, yo, Howie, go out and get him. So, your opinion, should Howie actually go out? And we had reports today that it looks like there have been talks. Should this happen, man?
I mean, should it happen? No. I mean, it's not necessary. It's overkill. You know what I mean? You don't need it to happen. But I mean, you know, I see everybody, I see your poll saying no, and everybody's saying no, it's overkill, not necessary. But you know what? Wouldn't it be? I mean, if you could convince him to play here on his last year of his deal, if you can get him cheap enough. I mean, you see what did Isaiah Simmons go? A really good player. He went for a 7th round pick. If you can get Jonathan Taylor in here for a 5th round pick or, you know, a player swap of some kind, I mean, who would say? Why would you say no if you could convince them? You're just going to outscore everybody even more. I mean, I get it. It's not necessary. It's a dumb question, like you said, to an extent. But I mean, I would never say no to any player at the right price. You know what I mean? You know, so why not? You know what I mean? Yeah, Scotty said I'd rather a safety or a linebacker. Sure, we'd all rather that. But sure, if Howie's going to make a move, why not? I would never say no. I just don't think it's necessary.
I mean, so my thing is like who we're negotiating with here. So it's the Colts. Ursay's kind of a stickler, right? So I'm just curious what the pricing would be for it. I'm in the ballpark where I don't like to give up a lot for running backs. For like a 3rd day pick, of course I would throw that in there. But I just don't know. Like we're talking about like a top tier. Where would you rank Jonathan Taylor in the league right now?
Oh, he's one of the top 5 running backs in football for sure. So I mean, last year he was the number 1 running back taken in almost every single fantasy football draft. You know what I mean? I know fantasy is different than real life,
right?
But the thing is, like, it's different. Everybody's comparing it to the Christian McCaffrey trade from last year with San Francisco and Carolina. There's a difference there because Jim Irsay, first off, he's a nut job, and he's gone out and already ruined his trade value. You know, he wants a 1st round pick or a 2nd round pick and a really good player. Problem is, no one's going to give that because everybody already knows that Jonathan Taylor wants out. Jim Irsay already said he's not going to pay him. He's on the last year of his deal, so the value's a little different there, in my opinion. So I don't think you're going to be able to find a way to get more than a 3rd round pick if a team like the Bears, who's linked to him, Dolphins are linked to him, all those teams that are linked to him, it's going to be hard for the Colts to get much more than a 3rd round pick at this point.
Here's the one thing that I will say. One thing I'm like I love this running back room. I talked about it before. This is the deepest running back room we've had in a long time.
Absolutely.
But of course, like you look at the top 2, Rashad Penny and DeAndre Swift. Both guys have had injury history. That's why like I'm a little reluctant to like, okay, well, Howie, what are you up to here? Because I think you see kind of what we see here. So that's where I'm like a little bit like, okay, we'll let's see what they're actually interested in, man. Gainwell. I mean, I don't know if I would give up.
I mean, personally, I'm not a Gainwell guy. Like, I think Gainwell's a good player. Everything reports out there saying that he's the lead back, even ahead of DeAndre Swift. I don't buy it. He hasn't shown any. Like, he's a good running back, but I don't think he's a lead guy. DeAndre Swift, injury prone. Rashad Penny might not make this team. Boston Scott's good, barely, twice a year. You know, our running back room is really good, but I said it since day one. You lost Miles Sanders last year, who rushed for almost 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns. You're not going to – everyone's like, oh, we got a running back by committee type team. Nah. Miles Sanders literally carried that running back room last year, and you got to replace it. And I don't know if these guys can fully replace that. Maybe as a team, maybe as a combo, but no one person's replacing what Miles Sanders did last year. Jonathan Taylor could do that.
I also do think that like part of Jalen running the ball helped what happened in the running game as well. And absolutely. I don't know about you personally, but like I would like for him to take less carries.
Absolutely.
We know the threat he is with at the legs, but that's why I would like to see more of. I agree. Like last year, it really wasn't that much running back coming because Jalen was so prominent in that. But it would be nice to see that as well. Max 4th rounder for JT, but Simmons went 7th and D-Hop was cut. Honestly, 4th rounder might be the right price. And
I think if you called and offered a 4th rounder, I think Irsay would have no choice. But that's why the trade hasn't happened yet, because he wants a second or third, or no one's offering it because he's lost all leverage in this situation.
And that organization, I think Swift is better than Miles.
He could be
for sure, but health is where I get pushed back a little bit when it comes to that. But it's game day. I'm sure that phone is for all those pizzas for game day.
This is the slow part of the day between 2 and 4 o'clock, so you won't hear too many phone calls back there.
Okay. So I want to start off with tonight's preseason game. A lot of talk after last preseason game about Mariota and the backup quarterback position. I think I heard he's going to get like max 2 series here today. Your opinion personally, like, is Mariota's play a concern for you as the backup this season?
I'm not too concerned about Marcus Mariota. First off, he's playing with twos. If he gets out there with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and our offensive line, he's obviously going to look a lot better out there. But everybody's talking about Tanner McKee and all this other stuff. Marcus Mariota signed to a pretty big contract that's fully guaranteed. Unless somebody, offers a trade, there's no way Marcus Mariota is not going to be the number 2 guy. And all these people that love Tanner McKee, you're a Super Bowl contending team. You're the defending NFC champions. If Jalen Hurts goes down for more than a game or so, are you really going to turn the keys of a Super Bowl contending team over to a rookie 6th-round pick? Or a guy Marcus Mariota that started 70 games in his career. He's got a near 90 quarterback rating in his career. People forget that. He's not a great passer, but overall, his numbers are not that bad as a starter in the NFL.
I'm with you, man. That's literally my thought about it. Like, Phil, at the end of the day, in this league, if you have to rely on your backup quarterback, like situations like 2017 and Nick Foles, like that rarely happens, right? Absolutely. So if your quarterback goes down, you're more than likely you're screwed. I'd rather have the guy who's got experience, but there is a positive in this because I do think Tanner proved us something. You need to keep him on this team, practice squad, whatever, have that third and active quarterback. Next year, have him compete for the backup quarterback position. It would be nice to not spend a lot of money on the backup quarterback position.
I will say one thing, because I've been very firm on the Marcus Mariota is the quarterback too. And a couple of days ago on my show, one of the commenters said something that really kind of resonated with me. And what's the point of preseason games and training camp? For young guys and rookies to prove who they are and earn spots on a team. Tanner McKee has kind of, if you take the money out of the equation, if Marcus Mariota was making the exact same amount of money as Tanner McKee has earned that right to be the quarterback too. Yep. Problem, you got to take into account the money. You're not going to take a $5 or $6 million cap hit because you're cutting your backup quarterback. You're just not going to do it. But that does make a little sense to me. Like, he has earned it. He has put the work in. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe he balls out tonight and maybe pushes Howie's, arm a little bit here and forces his hand a little bit,
Be interesting, dude. That'd be interesting.
It would be interesting.
Make sure you keep an eye out for our boy Scotty. He's going to be in 128. If you see him, give him a good old go Birds.
Who's going to a preseason game? Come on. It's Buckashuck Oyster Night down the street. I'm going to Buckashuck Oyster Night for it instead.
That's what I like to hear, man. What front office is worse, the Sixers or the Colts, man? We'll definitely talk about the Sixers in a little bit, man. But I mean, it's both front offices are. Which shit show is worse? I guess I'm gonna go with the Sixers and that one. Man.
We're living the Sixers one front and center right now.
Oh, dude, literally. If Marriotta's in and we don't have a great shot, regardless, LOL. McKee ain't saving us either. Yeah, I mean that's. Yeah, but I mean, if you ask, some fans, they put a lot of stock in the preseason, which, I typically don't, man. Yeah. What else are you looking forward to tonight?
The safety battle is very intriguing. Same. The linebacker battle is very intriguing. I think there's a lot of battles on the defense that are intriguing. But the realistic things that I'm looking at running back because Jonathan Taylor's probably not happening. I want to see who's going to be the third or fourth running back. And I want to see who's going to be the fifth wide receiver. Because I don't think Britton Covey, who was obviously here all last year and the punt returner, I do not think he's a lock to make this team. And my buddy Ed Kratz from Sports Illustrated, he messaged me the other day when I was asking him some questions. And he's like, if you're in the tub, you can't make the club. And, I mean, when was the last time Britton Covey stepped on a field in pads? It's been 3-4 weeks. You got a lot of guys fighting for that last wide receiver spot. And I think someone tonight could supplant Britton Covey as the number 5 wide receiver on this team.
Shouldn't be hard, but I agree with you,
Yeah.
man. You can't roll out with Covey again this year.
Yeah.
The safety one is intriguing to me. Like Blankenship, the fact that Blankenship locked up a starting spot from what
I
it seemed
love
like
it.
it is interesting. But Sidney Brown intrigues the crap out of me.
Absolutely.
I mean, his instincts on the field. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, like as an Eagles fan, especially growing up in the Dawkins days, like that definitely
Mm-hmm.
does something to me. But I'm just curious how like we're going from last year's safety group to this year's safety group. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that gets talked about a lot. And I'm just curious, like,
Mm-hmm.
how those guys would look. Now, the beginning part of the season, it's not that hard, right? But
Mm-hmm.
once you get into the thick of things in the schedule, I'm curious to see how those guys do roll on. But
I mean, it wasn't that long ago. It was like this time last year. We're like right before Chauncey Gardner-Johnson got brought in. We're looking at Jesse Bates. We're looking at all these things because remember, a year ago we had Marcus Epps and who as
right,
starting. You know, before we got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, we were in some deep trouble. Now Reed Blankenship, he's not just a lock. I mean, he is the man there, and it's crazy how safety has flipped like that.
yeah, I think it's going to be Sidney Brown, Scotty, and Reed, and I think the linebackers. Dude, Zach has really stepped up, man,
Yep.
and kudos to him. I think it'll be Zach, and I think it will be N'Kobe once he's fully healthy there.
I kind of think Terrell Edmonds is. I thought he was going to be cut a little while ago, but I think Terrell Edmonds is the starter, and Sidney Brown is kind of eased in at first. And he, you know, Sidney Brown's great. Everything you said about him, spot on. But he doesn't know how to throttle down at all. He's
Right?
100
No,
miles an hour every single play, which means early on he could be exposed. So if you limit his exposure a little bit and let him get used to, because the speed of the game as soon as week one comes is going to change a little bit. It's going to get a little faster. So he needs to learn how to throttle down on certain plays. So I think that's what you're going to see a little bit. You're going to see him eased in 10 snaps the first week, 15 snaps. By week 5, 6, yeah, he might be starting. But right away, it's going to be a little bit of a, grace period for him there.
yeah, I agree. I agree with you, and I agree with Scotty as
Yeah,
well,
Scotty's
man.
right. Scotty's spot on. They're actually going to only keep probably 4 linebackers.
Right.
On the depth chart, Nolan Smith and Hassan Reddick are technically linebackers, so technically they'd be keeping 6, but they kept 8 last year. So all these other roster spots that you want to open up, they're only going to keep real true 4. These 3 that Scotty's mentioned, and it's a battle between Nicholas Morrow and what's his name, Ben Van Summeren or whatever his name is. Those 2 guys are battling for that last spot tonight.
That's good. Those are the things that are intriguing about preseason. I like Edmonds' versatility. That's something that's extremely important, especially in today's NFL, man. But that's gonna be some fun. I want to see some more. I'm curious to see how much of like I'm not gonna Kobe. I'm sorry, Jalen Carter and Milton Williams. We'll see. I've been loving Milton Williams' development, man. Speaking of versatility,
I love that guy.
Doesn't get talked about a lot, but it's a lot of freaking fun. Yeah, what'd you think of the Devontae Smith sleep deprivation, man? He's getting like 4 hours of sleep.
Dude, I can't survive on 8. How would I survive on 4, dude? Like that man's a machine. I guess when you're smaller like that, you don't need as much sleep. I don't know what it is, man.
What about 8, man? You think that has anything to do? Like, I mean, I couldn't do 4. I mean, I could. I was not very useful when I was at that age. 4 hours.
There's no way I'm surviving on 4 hours of sleep. None. I'm only actually surviving on like 4 or 5 today, and I'm dragging, man. It's going to be a long night getting through this, getting through a final preseason game, oyster night, and on 4 or 5 hours sleep. It ain't going to be pretty tonight.
It's listen, man. I guess it's crazy. Now you're gonna get a bunch of kids, telling their parents, I only need 4. I only need 4. Probably only get 4 now with all the video games they're playing these days. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move forward with the Phils last night. We were live for that one. Again, shouts to everyone who tuned on in for that. But an 8-6 loss. Extra innings were needed for this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Decisions were made. There was some bad play. I want to steer this first towards Michael Lorenzen, because that's the first thing, obviously, that I noticed here. First 2 starts, amazing, spectacular. I thought we had the aces again, right, in Philadelphia. Last 2 starts, he's looked more mediocre. Mm-hmm. For you personally, Phil, what do you think we actually have in Michael Lorenzen?
I mean, we got a really solid pitcher. I got crushed when that trade went down because I put out a tweet. We traded a minor leaguer I'd never heard of till today for a pitcher I've never heard of till today. Because honestly, unless you watch every single baseball game, you don't know who the second or third starter on an AFC Central team is. I mean, Really, we didn't know who this guy was. And everyone's like, oh, this guy's great, blah, blah. Then he goes out and throws a no-hitter. Look, we've seen the super highs of Lorenzen, and we've seen the lows like last night. He's somewhere in the middle. He's a guy. Is he any more trustworthy than Aaron Nola in a game 2 of a playoff series? It's debatable. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I still say, this whole Phillies team, it's going to come down to 2 things, pitching and pitching, once we get to the playoffs, because there's still far too many question marks, whether it's Michael Lorenzen, whether it's Ranger Suarez. I think a lot of people were blaming Lorenzen because he went so deep for his no-hitter and threw so many pitches. Well, Ranger Suarez wasn't supposed to go down, and they were supposed to be running a 6-man rotation, so you stretch them out. You expect to give them the extra day, then Ranger Suarez goes down. Now you don't have the extra day. So there's a lot that went into that. He's going to be what he is. He's going to start game 3 or game 4 of the playoffs, and he's going to be okay.
When I watch Lorenzen, I don't see like a power type of hitter, or power type of pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't throw with like a ton of velocity. I mean, he's mostly throwing like sliders and 4-seam fastballs. But it does seem like, it's starting to catch up a little bit to him. But I'm with you. I'm not really too concerned about it. I mean, even last night, if you think about, if Wilmer Flores doesn't do all that damage in his first at-bats, I mean, he gets like 3 RBIs in his first at-bats. There's most of the score line right there. So it is intriguing. I definitely want to see it. JT Real Muto is another thing I really was concerned about last night. I mean, I don't know what the heck he was swinging at in the 9th inning, man. He's been struggling a little bit as of late. What do you feel about JT, bro?
I mean, can we get him a standing ovation or something like that? I mean, something to spark him. I don't know.
You're gonna have to talk to the Philly captain about that one.
Can we get a standing ovation for JT Real Muto? Because he's got to do something, man. I don't know. He's definitely struggled this year. He's not very JT-like at the plate. Some of those swings and misses that he has had, it's been brutal, honestly. And honestly, his defense has been a little bit, down.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still really solid, but no one's calling him the best catcher in baseball anymore. So, you can survive. I'm not worried about JT as much as I've been worried about some of these pitchers and stuff like that.
And you know what else too? Like even like last night, like there was a moment, I forget what, I think it was Estrada steals for second, right? Or Meckler. And JT doesn't even move. Like, and in most instances, like I see JT popping up and at least trying, but JT didn't even move. And I'm like, is he good? Like, everything okay over there, JT?
Oh,
but
he's taken a beating behind the plate this year.
For sure.
I mean, between foul balls and hits, he is taking a complete beating. I'm surprised I don't know where it stands now, but I know earlier this season he was the number 1 catcher innings caught, but by a massive amount. I don't know if they've brought that down any, but he was catching a lot of games earlier this year. He's getting older. He's getting tired. He's getting beat up. You just got to bump him down the lineup. Maybe hit him in the 7-hole or 8-hole or something like that, to kind of give him a chance to breathe a little bit and not be put in those pressure-packed situations.
Yeah, man. Dude, thank God for Bryce Harper. What a freaking home run, man. And the thing is that like they're down like 4-0, right? You get Schwarber, Trey Turner back-to-back homers. Then in the 9th, you get Schwarber and Trey Turner walking. And then, dude, what a freaking home run, dude! Bryce Harper. Where does that rank for you with the home runs?
Let me tell you something, because I get told on my show all the time in the morning that baseball's dead. Nobody wants to talk baseball. We got to a bar last night for dinner, right around like the 8th or 9th inning.
Yeah,
Bryce Harper hit that home run. We were at Two Stones in Jennersville. Great pub. Anywhere there's a Two Stones, they have great local beers and stuff like that. We're there. There's about 10 or 12 people eating dinner and hanging out at the bar. That bar erupted when Bryce Harper hit that home run. You would have thought there was 300 people sitting at that bar with the cheers, and it wasn't just me. You know what I mean? It was. I'm like, baseball's not dead. Bryce Harper's the man. I put it on my Twitter page today. Is Bryce Harper already on the Mount Rushmore of Phillies? Because it's not just the numbers. He just gets Philadelphia. And he's got that he's got that clutch gene in him. So Bryce Harper, man, I mean, the guy's the man.
And if you guys catch me in the middle of the street or something, just stopping and doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to explain what that is to my wife last night. She didn't understand.
Just don't ask questions. Yeah, just let it happen.
Absolutely.
Dude, Craig, what's up with Craig, man? Speaking of, what do we have?
I said I got two concerns. I got pitching and pitching. So one is starting pitching. The other is Craig Kimbrell. I mean, I don't know if you even realize it. I was watching the game 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago, and they put his stats up on the screen when he comes into the game, and he had already appeared in 54 games. The guy's like 65 years old, and he's pitching more than anybody else out of our bullpen right now. I mean, you got to understand that the wheels are going to fall off of him a little bit at some point.
But you know what else too is like he was like the last, I think, year and a half, he was struggling before.
Oh, he's been bad for a few years, yeah.
And so that's why I'm a little concerned right now, because like that first half of the year, that's the best baseball he's played in a long time. And I'm like,
yeah,
well, was that like a hoax? Like
you really got to watch it. You really got to watch his innings coming down the stretch here. You got Alvarado back. You know, you got to find a different combination. You got to try to find a way to get Sir Anthony Dominguez, back on some kind of a decent level, so that because that's the thing. Craig Kimbrell's burning out because Alvarado's been hurt for 2 months and Dominguez has been hurt and just inconsistent most of the year. So that
what do you have Soto too? Like,
Soto's not been very, good. You know what I mean? So somebody else has got to step up so you can give Craig Kimbrell a little bit of a breather here down the stretch.
That's a good question. Marshall wants to know: would you give Joel Embiid Bryce's clutchness or his health?
Bryce has been hurt a little. Bryce has been hurt a little bit. I would give him a clutch. Yeah, I don't know. What are we talking about injuries? What about Ohtani going down again yesterday? The biggest. Oh, he's got to have Tommy John surgery again. He came out of his pit start last night after 4 batters, and they said he's got a UCL tear again. So he had it in 2018. So it was a doubleheader. He pitched in the first game, came out 4 batters in, and then went in and DH'd in the second game. Still went 1 for 5 again. But the guy's gonna miss it. He's not gonna pitch again until 2025.
Damn, man.
It's gonna cost him some money this offseason, isn't it?
Dude, we were talking about what is his price tag. Well, now it's going down for sure, man.
I was ready to give him $750 million, man. And I thought that was a fair deal, not like over the top.
Dude, imagine Ohtani comes here, man. Dude, we would embrace him. This would be little Japan over here in Philly, man. It'd be freaking awesome, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude. I mean, dude, Bryce, he gets hurt, but that body's built different, man. I don't know how to explain it, but that body is really, really built different, man.
Right. But Joel's already been injured all the time. We need Joel to get a little bit more clutch. We need Game 7 type Bryce Harper from Joel Embiid. You know what I mean?
Well, let's talk about that real quick. So, obviously we've been talking about it with other people on the show. It's just like at this point, I feel like we had the same conversation 2 years ago about Ben Simmons, and here we are again, man. Like this mess feels different, but like I don't know about you, I'm over it. Like I'm so fatigued, like I'm numb to it. So, how you feeling about it all, man?
Yeah, like I could care less. We're less than 2 months away from the Sixers season starting. And I'm so frustrated. I made a rule on my show. We went 2 weeks and we did not mention the Sixers name once. I just couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it. And it was like a weight off my chest not talking about the Sixers for 2 weeks. Because I don't see a solution. I don't know if you see a solution to this problem. No. I don't see a solution. And the end game
Band-Aids. That's it. Just Band-Aids.
I see bad endings, not Band-Aids. Because the end result to me right now, as it's presented in front of you, is at some point Joel's going to ask out. And I don't want that. I don't want Joel out.
Can you blame him?
I want to win a title. I would not blame him one bit. I know Scotty said on one of his shows or on Twitter that he wouldn't cheer him on another team. I wouldn't cheer him on another team either. But you know what? I wouldn't blame him for wanting out. Not at all.
It's got to the point that I'm looking more forward to the Flyers because at least there's finally a little light at the end of the tunnel. We're starting there, right?
Yeah.
And I can watch young kids develop. I'm fine with that. But with the Sixers, if James is here or not, where's the depth? Where's the wing depth? Where's the shooting?
I saw a rumor that we're looking at Blake Griffin now. You know what I mean? It's seriously. I want to ask you a question. I'm gonna turn the pages onto you.
Go ahead, man.
I don't know who you're blaming, James Harden or Daryl Morey in this situation. I think there's blame to go around to both. No matter how this James Harden situation ends, do you see a scenario where Daryl Morey stays in Philadelphia?
No, I honestly think his days will be numbered, to be quite honest with you. I don't see him go I said it on my show. This time next year, I don't think he's here. I don't know if you find I don't even want him negotiating the trade of Harden now because he's so emotionally invested and he's so emotionally involved in it. Morey is, I can't try. I don't think he's fully to blame, but I can't trust him to resolve the situation. If he's part of the resolution, I think he's going to mess it up again. And then what do you do? Do you go back to Alvin Brand?
I don't know. It's a bad situation. I hate being right. And I said the day they hired Daryl Morey, it was a bad decision. I got crushed for it. Crushed for it. I'm so disappointed. I hate being right sometimes, and I hate being right in this situation here.
Yeah, you know what? His downfall was a little bit because I did think like the first year taking on that roster from Elton Brand, like I thought he did a great job of trying to at least build somewhat of a team. And then the next year I thought they did good too. But like falling in love too much with previous players that you had on the Rockets probably brought him to where we're at today. But you know, Josh, I mean, that's another thing too. Josh Harris is out here doing weird, awkward handshakes with Joe Buck on Monday Night Football. That's what we got, man.
Oh man, dude, Washington fans. I got. There's a podcast group kind of similar to all of us in DC called Ref the District. They are great guys, and they do a great job. And they expanded after a year or two to cover basketball and other sports. And dude, they are all so excited about Josh Harris because of Daniel Snyder. And I keep telling them, guys, he might not have as many sexual harassment lawsuits or whatnot against him, or he might not be a scumbag like Daniel Snyder, but man, Josh Harris is not a good sports owner, not at all, and he does get the blame. Yeah, he gets plenty to blame because he doesn't hold any of these guys accountable. He doesn't hold any of his GMs or presidents accountable, none of them whatsoever.
It's just too much. Like, dude, you can't run NBA, NFL, not MLB,
all in competing cities. In competing cities.
You can't be.
What's the baseball team he's going to buy? He's got to buy a baseball team now, right?
He's gonna get on the Nashville stuff. That's what he's gonna
Nationals or the Mets or something like that. He's got to pick another team that's a competitor of Philadelphia. Obviously, look, it's a shame. And Josh Harris, it's just like the Flyers. So many people called for Snyder to sell the Flyers for ages and stuff like that, or Comcast to sell them. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? He's going to keep that team because he's all about the money.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Here's the thing about Ellen. Like, Ellen negotiating got us in this problem. But Ellen as a drafter hasn't been terrible. Like, listen, Matisse Thybulle was solid for that year, and he didn't develop an offensive game. That it is what it is with that. He was part of that room with Tyrese Maxey. I just don't know if he's learned his lesson from negotiating. That's why I'm worried about having him back as a GM.
I do not. So basically, when you say negotiating, I'm guessing you're blaming him for the Tobias Harris contract and the Al Horford contract and stuff like that, right?
I think he got rushed into that position, and I think that's
so.
What lent it
I don't think that is not what I blame him for. I blame him for not sticking up for Joel Embiid and Jimmy Butler, and because Tobias Harris's contract had to happen. Whether it was Elton Brand or Daryl Morey, you couldn't trade all the assets you traded for Butler and Harris, and then let both walk. You just couldn't do it. So once Butler walked because he didn't want to play with Ben Simmons or Brett Brown or whoever it was, you had to do it. So his mistake wasn't sticking up for Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid and sticking up for Brett Brown and Ben Simmons. That was his only mistake, in my opinion. If he chooses the other side and lets go of Ben or Brett Brown right then and there, Jimmy Butler probably stays here, and then the whole story is different. The whole Sixers story, the whole process plays out different if we keep Jimmy Butler versus Brett Brown and Ben Simmons there.
Problem is that there's a lot of fingers to be pointed out to the situation with the Sixers, and so
absolutely.
Unfortunately, yeah, Kata. Listen, we got the beard, man. Beard's got time for us, man. We love it. We love it, man. He's gonna buy the Marlins. Dude, man. You know, I don't even feel bad for Miami anymore because about what we're about to talk about. So I don't even feel bad for Miami. I hope they all have bad teams now. Do you guys consider Straw? Oh shit! I didn't even know he retired, man. Dude, when he first got drafted, man, that hype was incredible. But dude, that position, man, that's the thing. When you're throwing the way these kids throw these days, I don't know how long these careers are going to be last, man.
Do you see some of these kids how they're throwing? I don't know if you watch the Little League World Series. I love watching it. Yeah. Shout out to media, man. Delco. You know, I'm a Delco boy. You know what I mean? So, you know, shout out to them. They gave it their best shot. But some of these kids are throwing like,
yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed it. I don't know when they stopped it, but I noticed it this year. They used to put the pitch, like the pitch clock on how fast they were throwing, and then also another clock on what it would translate to the pros. They stopped doing that because I think they were glorifying these kids trying to, you know, hit 55, 60, 70 miles an hour. These kids are throwing curve balls and breaking balls. And I don't know about you. That 12-year-old kid that started the first game for media, I ain't hitting him. I would strike out without a shadow of a doubt against that kid.
Oh, my God. Dude threw 83 miles per hour. That's at 12, man. There's major league pitchers.
Man.
Mark, to throw something else. We traded Michael Bridges to ultimately acquire Tobias. Let that sink in. Wow.
Yeah, that's depressing. Thanks, Marshawn. I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
All right, we got Zach here, so let me ask you, man. So all right, so if anyone hasn't heard, Messi's the best of all time is in our league right now. He's with Inter Miami. As a player, I've always loved and respect Messi.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand how big of his fan base would be. This is bigger than I've ever seen from LeBron fans, bigger than Kobe fans. This is insane. It's getting insane. It's getting pretty insane. So for you, you have been a great supporter of soccer, especially in the city, man. From your perspective, what do you make of this this crazy
Messi mania or whatever? Like it's been, so I got two different opinions on it. One opinion. I'm going to go on a long tangent here, so bear with me here. It's kind of similar to Trey Turner's, standing ovation and whatnot. Like, look, I wasn't a fan when Messi was down there at the park and everybody's cheering him when he scores a goal and that kind of stuff. Like, I want my team to win, not Messi. You know what I mean? Like, I want the Union to win, not Miami. So, like, I was but I get on the flip side, it's kind of like when I say I don't like the Beatles. I appreciate their cultural phenomenon and what they mean to the world of music. I understand what Messi means to not just soccer, but the sport as a whole and sports in general. So, like, there's two ends of the equation. Like, he's great to have in this country and great for the sport and great for the league. But, man, I'm not cheering him to score a goal against my team. They crushed us. They crushed us. So I'm not gonna hate on him, but I'm gonna hate on the fact that, look, I'm not cheering for him. I'm not.
Have you ever?
Do you get what I'm saying there?
Yeah, no, of course. That's exactly how I feel about it. But have you seen?
I don't know the reaction they got when he scored a goal. Like, I'm just like, no, he's beating your team. Come on now,
dude. We had a lot of pink in there, but in general,
too much.
Have you seen this in any other sport?
Maybe in baseball when Ohtani came over, maybe there was a little bit there, maybe, but not this big. But no, and I'm old enough to remember when David Beckham came over, and he was later in his career. He wasn't quite the player he was, in his prime. But that got nothing compared to this, nothing at all. Because Messi, he's up there in age. How old is he now?
It's like 36, but
he still
plays like he's 30.
He still plays at a high level. So there's a big difference there between Beckham and Messi.
Yeah,
and Messi's just. I really wish that MLS did not make the deal with Apple TV, because I think they're hurting themselves and their growth with that. Because there's a lot of people. I don't get Apple TV, so I catch very few games. You know what I mean, now as I used to. So I think they hurt themselves there. But you put them back on regular TV with Messi here, that might be the spark that bumps, MLS up there with the NHL.
The promise, Phil, is because of the deal that the MLS did with Messi and Apple TV. The deal actually had an incentive that portion of the sales go to Messi. So the subscription for Apple TV is like tripled. So, like, although I agree, and I do actually think a lot of sports are going to go into this type of model as well, which does suck, because we were talking about it on Twitter, man. Like, I'm sick and tired of all these subscriptions, man. I freaking want to go back to cable, man. And
I never cut the cord, man, because it's more expensive to have YouTube TV, Apple. Look, I just saw. I don't know if you saw the preview for. I've never paid for Amazon Prime before, but now they got the Kelsey, document. I'm not going to not watch the Kelsey show.
I know.
You know what I mean? Dude. So now I have to get Amazon Prime now. Come on, like, it's getting ridiculous, man.
Marsha. So I think there's an age group that doesn't even know who the Beatles are, but I think for the most part, people respect and know who the Beatles are.
I respect the importance to music and the world. I just don't like their music. That's not my style of music. Music's very subjective. That's the thing with the Beatles. That's the thing with Messi. Like, I'm not trying to compare the two, but I'm just trying to say, like, I respect what he means to the world of sports, not just soccer. It's just not my thing. I'm not cheering him to score a goal against my team. It's just not.
Yeah, man. And so it was crazy, dude. So you had pink shirts all over. I saw a girl, Phil, with a Messi pink Miami shirt, and she had a Phillies hat on. I was about to be like, man,
dude, you would never see if who would be a comparison in baseball or football or basketball. You wouldn't see all their jerseys in a Phillies stadium or an Eagles stadium. You get the Mets fans, at Phillies games sometimes. They get booed out of the stadium. They don't cheer. You know what I mean? So, I'm a little disappointed in the Union fans for letting so many Messi jerseys, invade Subaru Park. Is it still called Subaru Park? I don't know. I think
Subaru. It is still called Subaru.
Who knows?
You know, Phil. When Kobe retired, right?
Mm-hmm.
He announced the retirement a couple days before the Philly game. I already had tickets to that game.
Okay.
Ticket prices skyrocketed once that happened. You go to the Wells Fargo Center, dude. It was purple and we sucked at that time, if you remember.
Well,
so purple and yellow everywhere.
I went to the Kobe Bryant tribute game right after he passed away. My friend had an extra ticket. He's like, "Would you like?" Okay, that's acceptable to have Kobe Bryant everywhere. And that was on a side note. I've been going to my first baseball game was in 1986. I was 5 years old. I still remember it. I'm old. Yeah, that's right. I'm old. Okay, sorry.
I'm just jealous, man. I'm just because I know you went to the Vet, which I've never been to.
Oh, the Vet, dude! I got so many memories. I could do a whole 2-hour show just on memories from the Vet. But I've been going to sporting events since 1986, at least that I remember. And I've never been to an event or a match or a game of any kind quite like the experience of going to the Kobe Bryant tribute game. Just the somberness of it. That you could hear, like, so I don't know if you remember, but all around the league, the first, play from each team, they would take a 24-second shot clock violation in his honor. So obviously it was quiet for that. Then the first bucket of the game was a Joel Embiid layup. And there was not one, you could hear a pin drop in that stadium. I think it was somewhere in the second quarter where there was finally some claps going on. It was just so somber, so quiet, eerie feeling there.
Did Joel wear 24 for that game?
I believe he did, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of that one, but okay, yeah. That was definitely a somber one. I remember that day in general. I think for the first 12 hours, I still didn't believe it. I was like, someone just
we won that game, and I remember walking back out into the parking lot into my car, and nobody's jumping up and down cheering. Everybody just is filing out, single file, quiet, just soaking it in. You know what I mean?
Dude, yeah, man. Kobe touched a lot of us, not even just Philly because he's from here, but man, he was truly special, man. He should have thrown an egg at Shorty for wearing a Phillies hat and Messi. Hey, listen, man, I'm not trying to get in trouble out here, but I feel you.
Not trying to get banned from any stadiums here.
And Zach, you need to understand, like, I'm a 90s baby. I'm a first generation American. So I was lucky I was able to go to the Spectrum, okay? Let alone the Vet, man. All right.
Oh man, I went to my first Flyers game at the Spectrum. I remember it was against the Winnipeg Jets. The first time Winnipeg, like way back in the early 90s there. You know what I mean? So I got so many stories from those old stadiums, man.
I missed the entrance to the Spectrum, like all the doors, the glass doors. Like it was.
If you look really closely when I do my show from my home studio, there's a piece of vet turf hanging up behind me. I got it. It's only about like 2 by 3, but man, I got that piece. My brother, he went down when they demoed it, and he made sure he got all of us Stifle kids some vet turf. Had to.
That's sick, man. That is absolutely sick. All right, well, that's going to do it for this edition of Citywide Special. A big shout out, a big thank you to Phil Stifle. Again, as always, the beard. Phil, let them know, where can they find your great work, brother?
Philadelphia Sports Network on Facebook, YouTube, I guess on Twitter, X, whatever it's called. But make sure you go to Facebook or YouTube because I pride myself on Trending in the AM being the most interactive morning show there is. The only place, my tagline I created a couple months ago, I changed it up. I made the tagline where your opinions actually matter. And I really believe in that. Marshawn will vouch for me because he's always there every single morning. I make sure the show is about them, not about me. I start the topic, and wherever they go in the comments, as we get 200-300 comments a day on the show. And it's just what you guys want to talk about. And it's Monday through Friday, 8:15 a.m. every single day. That's what
we like to hear. Shouts out to Philly Sports Network. There's a show, Duke by the River. I don't know. I think it's a good one, guys. So definitely check that one out.
It's all right.
Awesome stuff, man. Shouts to Philly Sports Network. Shouts to Phil. Thank you so much. Shouts to you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning on in. We'll be back tomorrow to close out the week. We'll talk about tonight's game. And of course, we'll talk about the Union gear up DC this Saturday. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Phil Stifle. I am JP, better known as El Parcero Philly.